Hello and welcome to Sport Scene. I'm your host, Peter Pasau, and tonight we have another exciting show for you. Sport Scene interviews the Vice President of Port Moresby Darts Association, Anthony Kellett, who will be talking about the competition in the nation's capital and the interesting developments in the sport. We'll also be talking to SP Brewery Corporate Affairs Manager John Nilkare about the SP Awards and the preparations for it, the close of nominations, the categories, and the announcement of the special guest speaker for the night. The awards, which recognizes sportsmen and women in the country, teams' outstanding performances and contributions to sport, is into its 31st year and will be the first time in 3 years to be hosted to a live audience on May 27th at the Crown Hotel here in Port Moresby. We'll also look at the weekend scoreline for the NRL Host Plus Cup and Super Rugby and preview what's coming up this weekend in sport. Let's start things off with a look at the weekend sports scorelines. All right, in NRL round 4 results, Eels 17 defeated the Panthers 16, Storm 24, Tigers 12, Broncos 18 over the Dolphins 12 points, Cowboys 24 defeating the Titans 12, Rabbitohs with a 1-point win 13-12 over the Sea Eagles. The Warriors 16 defeated the Bulldogs 14. The Newcastle Knights 24 defeated the Canberra Raiders 14. And the Cronulla Sharks, big winners over the St. George Illawarra Dragons 40 points to 8. On to the Host Plus Cup round 3 results. Winner Seagulls with a big win over the Ipswich Jets 50 points to 6. And then there's the match at the NFS last Saturday. Tigers 38 beating the home side, PNG Hunters 36 in what was a very, very entertaining match. Tweedhead Seagulls 32 defeated the North Devils 26. CQ Capras 24 over the Northern Pride 4. Townsville Blackhawks 28 defeated the Mackay Cutters 22. And the Burleigh Bears 36 over the Dolphins 10. And on to the Super Rugby round 5 results. We've got the Crusaders 35 over the Brumbies 17. Chiefs 24 defeating the Waratahs 14. The Highlanders 57 big winners over the Drua, who scored 24 points. Hurricanes 59 over Moana Pacifica 0. The Rebels 40, Reds 34, and the Auckland Blues 30 points to 17 winners over the Western Force. And that was the weekend scoreline. We'll take a break now and be back with the interview with POM Dart Association Vice President Anthony Kellett right after these messages. Welcome back to Sports Scene. Darts is a sport that is popular in many clubs and social gatherings in Port Moresby and around the country. Sports Scene spoke to Port Moresby Darts Association Vice President Anthony Kellett about the plans for the 2023 season and what has already taken place so far. Here is that interview.
My name is Anthony Kellett. I am the Vice President of the NCD Darts Association. We're one of the associations in the National Capital District. We're part of the bigger competition, so to speak, of darts throughout the country. So this weekend we start our season proper competition. We finished our season proper 2 weeks ago, and we had our AGM the weekend before last. So this is, I guess, the start of the long season ahead for 2023 for us. Okay, so we have 2 divisions. We have a tier system that's in place. Our Premier Division only has 8 teams. With the overwhelming response from last year's season, we've had 20 or almost 20 more teams that have come in. So in our Division 1, we have about 29 teams. I believe the criteria that have been set by the PNG Darts Federation is minor previous for season 2021 and last season. So in our association, we have K180, Falcons, and Phoenix. And if we're going back 2021, then I believe the club that were minor premiers then was, or the runner-up was Stray Dogs. So they are the clubs that will represent our association at the club championships this year. So the club championships is in September. So our competition will run through. I believe that according to our calendar, we should finish up before then, so that our members can prepare themselves to represent in Leh. So once they've completed, once they've taken part there, then they'll come back for the finals and the presentation. At the end of the season. We have planned for it. Yes, we have planned for junior divisions. It's only a plan at the moment. We're trying to fit it into the calendar this season. So if we're able to set it up properly this year, then that's also something that will contribute to how people see the sport. We're trying to, because a lot of times dart is always associated with places like where we're set up right now. We're trying to change the focus, put it in a place where you have young people coming to play dart, where it's not associated with other things people see the sport connected with. So that's what we're trying to do. So if we do get it off the ground, it'll be good, not just for us, but for the sport and for, I guess, the future of darts in Papua New Guinea. There are a lot of provinces that play dart in the country. It's just unfortunate that they haven't been able to, I guess, participate in a lot of sanctioned tournaments the federation has held. Dart is played all the way up at Vanimo, right down through to Milne Bay and through to the New Guinea Islands. Up in the Highlands, as far as I know, our friends up in the Eastern Highlands are the only ones that more active in the sport. But even as far as the Western province. But the thing is that we don't really hear what they do, and we're trying to, set that, I guess, standard, or set that mark where, other associations can follow us, and also promote the sport where they play dart. So, hopefully you hear more of darts being played in these other provinces that I've already mentioned. With regards to the Pacific Games, we have not had any feedback from the Federation as to whether we will participate or not. There isn't any communication that has come back. So we're hoping that if it does get the green light for dart to be a sport that will be represented at the Pacific Games, then we would like to send representatives from this association to participate there as well. We plan to roll out corporate darts in a couple of months' time, I believe next month and onwards, and that will coincide with our finals. We're also looking forward to the club championship in Leh. I believe it's hosted by Metro Darts. That's in September. So apart from our normal competition, those are some of the events that we're gearing up towards. But with regards to interested people, if they want to play, we've started the season, but there is an open window somewhere along the season calendar where people can come and join established clubs already here participating. So if they would like to participate, then they're most welcome to come and reach out to us. We have a Facebook page, NCD Darts Association, so people can contact us through that social media, reach out to us. Otherwise, we're here every Saturday at 1 p.m., even on Sundays, so they can come to Sport Scene and look for us. We'll be happy to help them out.
That was Port Moresby Dart Association Vice President Anthony Kellep talking to Sport Scene about his association and the competition and other activities they have on this year. We'll take a break and be back with special guest John Nilkare Jr. of SP Brewery, who will talk about the SP Sports Awards in May. Welcome back to Sports Scene. The SP Awards remains PNG's only major sporting awards ceremony and has been hosted annually since 1992. Tonight on the show, we welcome special guest SP Corporate Affairs Manager John Nilkare Jr. to give us the latest on the awards. First of all, welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you, viewers, for having me on the show.
All right, tell us about the preparations for the 31st SP Awards that will be taking place in May.
Yeah, 31 years, 31 events. We've come a long way. So I think this year, what's different from, let's just say, the last 3 years is we're actually going to be having an in-person event with the finalists and then, of course, with the stakeholders. Last 3 years, we didn't actually host it in person because of COVID measures. So we did everything pretty much virtually. I guess everyone's looking forward to actually turning up on the 27th of May. That's a Saturday evening at the Crown Hotel, which is, we call it the home of the SP Sports Awards. It's always been the venue where we've hosted the events for the last 31 years. So yeah, we're looking forward to that, recognizing elite talents, elite sporting achievements throughout the country, particularly in the year of 2022. Yeah.
And the nominations, they close next week, I believe, April 6th, 7th?
Yeah, so we opened up the nominations, I think it was February 5th of this year, and we had about 6 to 8 week window period for nominations to come in, and we're going to close it 6th of next week, Thursday, which is the 6th of April. I think one of the great things to make mention of is that for the first time in the history of the awards, something different this year that we'll be doing is we've launched an online nominations platform. What we've realized, so we're embracing technology. What we've realized in the past is that the actual nomination process is quite tedious. There's a bit of paperwork involved in filling in. Now, the advancement of technology has made it easier that people can, type in things on their smartphone and laptops and what have you. So having that in mind, we launched the online platform, and I can't give you the actual data, how many nominations have come through, but the team have indicated that there's been a significant improvement and usage of the actual online platform. And I think viewers going to come on the screen. So take out your smartphone. There's a scan, QR code that you can scan on, and then it takes you straight to the website or the platform, which you can nominate some of your athletes and categories. So there's 12 categories. Well, there's actually 13 categories in the sports awards, Peter. 12. There's one that comes in every second year, and that was newly introduced. It's called the Stan Joyce Awards, and Stan Joyce, many of you would know, was the former long-time managing director of South Pacific Breweries, and also current chairman of the board. So that one's more or less about recognizing organizations that invest a lot into sport in the PNG. Yes, it's really important that we recognize our talents, but it's also the companies and businesses that invest in sports, because essentially without them, a lot of these activities can't happen. So having them recognized on such an important, platform like the SP Sports Awards, I think it's the right thing to do. And you know, the first winners were Trukai Industries. They won that a couple of years ago, and you know, they were really you know, really appreciative. You know, they received the award well. It's you know, so it's something that you know, we intend to do it every second year. Yep.
How big is the SP Awards on your calendar of events for the company going forward every year? Does it take up a whole lot of time in preparation and trying to organize things with the PNG Olympic Committee?
Yeah, Peter, it's about a 3-month journey. Without getting too technical, the Sports Awards is more of a corporate activity, so it kind of sits under my basket of, you know, things to do. So yeah, that 3 months gets quite intense. You know, the biggest activity in that is obviously getting those nominations. You know, so we try and drive the federations to nominate their people. You know, top talents, both female and male and female. So that can be quite a daunting task, because sometimes, you know, we don't get as you know, get the kind of let's just say level of activity that we really want. So that's why, you know, we try to, you know, improve things by introducing an online platform, because I said, like I mentioned, you know, it can be quite tedious assembling the whole process together. And the whole nomination process, you know, it actually gets audited by Deloitte, so that there's transparency, there's accountability, everything is done right, so that, you know, you can eliminate any thoughts of, you know, corruption and nepotism and what have you. So things are all above board, and that's what, you know, for something, you know, platforms like this, which is, you know, nationwide, it's really important that you do it the right way. Otherwise, not everybody kind of receives it well, they don't embrace it, and, you know, and believe me, we've received comments in the past where it's just like, oh yeah, the same people keep getting it, but, you know, it's, yeah, they get nominated by the majority, so, you know, things are done above board.
You have a special guest every year for the SP Awards, and
yeah,
normally you will announce it kind of late, maybe a couple of weeks or 3 weeks before the actual event. This year you've got another special guest, and he's well known in Australia. He's from the combat sport side of things. Would you like to announce to PNG on Sports Scene tonight who the special guest speaker for the 31st SP Awards will be? Yeah,
thanks, Peter. As mentioned, look, we have a special guest every year to be the keynote speaker at the event, but not also just the keynote event at the keynote speaker at the event. But when we do bring in this the keynote speaker, they're obviously from a particular sporting fraternity, and what we do is when they fly into Port Moresby, they engage with the federations, the local federations, the juniors. They engage themselves in clinics, training clinics, development clinics with coaches and management, administration staff. So there's a whole host of activities that these keynote speakers do, aside from just presenting at the awards ceremony. So when we bring them in, we try and get as much value as we can, both for the sports awards and also the federation that they're kind of related to. Mm-hmm. But without further ado, so our special guest for this year is Jeff Finnick. Okay, they call him the Marrickville Mauler. I think, you know, with Jeff's background and the theme that we have around, you know, stopping violence, he's obviously a speaker that, you know, he does motivational speaking in Australia and what have you. But there's that, you know, there's that correlation that we can bring a fighter who is, you know, fights within the ring, so fights within the boundaries of, you know, professionalism, and then this message that we're trying to put out that, you know, it's not okay to fight outside the ring.
Our audience out there, for example, maybe to get those nominations in, it closes on the 6th of next month.
Yeah.
Which is next week.
Absolutely. Look, I know, like a lot of the viewers out there, you've got your sporting favorites, you know, and a lot of you have associations or connections with certain federations. You know, there's federation members that have performed well in 2022. Please, you know, showcase them. If you like them, if you love their talent, if you want them to, you know, be recognized and have the opportunities to further their careers, this is a perfect platform to, you know, to showcase the rest of Papua New Guinea that, hey, this this person is great at what they do, and yeah, it's it's like I said, it's the number one platform to recognize elite talent. And maybe I'll just make mention of the 13 categories for this year. First is the male athlete of the year. Second is the female athlete of the year. Third is the team of the year. Fourth is the national performance of the year. Fifth, junior male athlete of the year, and then junior female athlete of the year, and then community sports initiative, and then you have the best person with a disability, best sports person with a disability, and then you got the sports official of the year, the sports media of the year, sports photo of the year, and then of course the Stan Joyce Award. And then on the night, the 13th one is of course the People's Choice Awards. So that'll be done through an SMS voting platform. You can get all those details from the SB Sports Awards Facebook page and or the PNG Olympic Committee Sports Facebook page, or the SB Brewery Facebook page.
John, thank you so much for coming onto the show and telling the audience about the SB Awards, the 31st SB Awards. We wish you and the SB team, as well as the PNG Olympic Committee and the organizers, all the best and may be a success for this year.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you, viewers. It's been a pleasure being on the show. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll be back with more after these messages. Welcome back to Sports Scene. We'll now take a look at what's happening in sport this weekend. NRL Round 5 draws for this weekend. Thursday, Roosters versus Parramatta Eels. On Friday, we have two matches. The Canberra Raiders against the Penrith Panthers and the Rabbitohs versus the Melbourne Storm. On Saturday, we have three matches. Seagulls versus the Newcastle Knights. Dragons versus the Dolphins. Broncos taking on the West Tigers. And on Sunday, we have two matches. The Sharks versus the Warriors and the Bulldogs taking on the Cowboys. Titans are on the bye. Moving on to the Host Plus Cup Round 4 draw. On Saturday, 1st of April, we've got the Seagulls taking on the Bears, the Northern Pride versus the Blackhawks, Falcons versus the Clydesdales, Magpies taking on the Devils, Mackay Cutters taking on the CQ Capras, Brisbane Tigers versus the Ipswich Jets, Dolphins versus the Wynnum Manly Seagulls. PNG Hunters are on the bye. And on to Super Rugby Round 6, Friday 31st March, the Highlanders versus Moana Pacifica, and the Reds versus the Crusaders. And on Saturday, Fiji Drua versus the Melbourne Rebels, Chiefs versus the Blues, Brumbies versus the Waratahs, and on Sunday, the final match of the Super Rugby Round 6, the Hurricanes versus the Force. And that was the weekend preview of sport. If you have a story you want on Sports Scene, you can contact us on 312-9229 or email us at sportscene@mtv.com.pg or visit our office at Level 2 Garden City, Baroko. And that's all we have for you tonight. Till Sports Scene returns next week, it's goodbye for now.